Welcome back to the Canteen Cooks. I'm Renee, and today we're going to be diving into all things lobster. We're going to be doing a few episodes on these delicious creatures from the ocean, and today we're going to be making my favorite, creamed lobster on toast. Succulent lobster meat with white wine, shallots, garlic, and cream, just poured on top of some nice sourdough toast. So, let's get cooking. One of my favorite ingredients to cook with, especially because I live on the East Coast, is lobster. Beautiful, succulent Canadian lobster. Comes from the cold, pristine waters of our ocean, that salty water that we all love. But what we're gonna do for the next few episodes is we're actually gonna demystify lobster. The great thing about Canadian lobster is you can get it fresh, like this guy who's actually trying to get off of the platter. Frozen, you can find it anywhere, whether it be in the grocery store or at fishmongers. But today, I'm just gonna talk to you quickly about my favorite creature. We're actually going to talk about cooking fresh lobster for our recipe.
Fresh lobster.
Fresh lobster, yes.
So fresh, it's still alive.
Well, these ones want to basically just run off the side of the table. But when I'm buying a lobster, first of all, what is one of the things you want to make sure that it is that it's?
Moving.
Moving.
Alive.
You want to make sure it's alive. I like to buy lobsters that are usually about a pound to a pound and a half. And you want to make sure that they're nice and lively. This one is actually a male. You can tell because his tail is a little bit, it's very straight. And I like to call his little pinchers here. On a female lobster, her tail would be a little bit wider and her little pincers up here at the top would be like feathery.
What else are the big differences between the male and female lobsters?
The males are angrier than the females.
But as far as eating though?
Oh, well the females come with the roe, and a lot of us love the roe. So that beautiful pink, the eggs basically, and I know like often like, let's say we're making this creamed lobster on toast today, I would actually throw in a little bit of the roe and it would just make it a beautiful pink color. I always say we should cook it the way that it came from. So I usually get like a giant pot and I get boiling, really salted water. And for a pound lobster, a pound and a half lobster, I usually cook it for 12 minutes.
What do you do with those elastics? Because that's a question that people often ask.
You need to be A, extra careful, B, take these elastics off when you cook the lobster, because it does actually give some flavor, like elasticized, plasticky flavor to your lobster meat. And you don't want that because it's such a beautiful, succulent, rich meat that you don't want to taste elastics. You just want to taste the delicious sweet lobster meat.
And if you are fortunate enough to be cooking lobster next to the ocean, some people even just fill their pot with ocean water.
They fill their pot with ocean water. That's what my dad always did. I mean, he came from the Gaspé region of Quebec, and that's how they would cook their lobsters. So this is about a 1.5 pound lobster. I cooked him for about 12 minutes. Now, the way that I like to clean it is, first of all, make sure you have a cloth and nice heavy knife, because I like to use the back to get through to the claws. This is a bit of a messy job, so if you are able to do it outside in the summer or if it's warm enough, I usually do it that way, but today we're gonna do it indoors. So first, I like to pull out the tail. The way that I like to do it is I like to crack my tail and then open it up a little bit so that I can basically pull the beautiful tail meat right out. So I've got this beautiful, gorgeous tail piece, which I know a lot of people like. What's your favorite part of the lobster, Doug, other than the roe?
I actually love the tail.
You love the tail?
Yeah, some people really think the claw is the best, but I truly love the tail meat. I like the chewiness to it, and I think it's just, for me, tail is where it's at.
Tail is where it's at. Okay, I like the claws. I'm a claw person. So I'm literally just going to pull out the claws. Now, if you're my dad or a hardcore lobster lover, you will literally go and take every one of these little legs off and take the meat out, but I'm not gonna do that today. I'm gonna save this actually because we can turn the shells into a beautiful stock to make bisque. Next, I pull the knuckle from the claw on both of those. And then I like to pull the pincer. Now this is where I make all my noise. This is what my cloth is good for. So I'm just gonna fold my cloth and I'm just gonna break it so that I can pull all that beautiful succulent claw meat right out of there.
That is a beautiful claw.
Look at that claw. That's gonna be delicious. Now I'm gonna show you how I like to do the knuckles. So there's a beautiful sort of like natural place to snap it. Again, using my cloth because they do have prickly sharp points, so you don't wanna actually impale yourself. I snap that in half. Some people use, what do they use? They use like the lobster skewers, but I actually just use my fingers and I push the meat right out. Because your hands are your best tool, I always say. So there's one beautiful piece of lobster meat. And then there's just one little piece here. I'll just use the tip of my knife and that's it.
But as you get more advanced with cleaning a lobster, and you learn from people that have been eating lobster their whole lives, there's also lobster meat hiding in the body.
There's lobster meat everywhere.
Yeah, so you can really get a lot of meat out if you know where to look.
Exactly. I find cleaning lobster sort of soothing and fun.
Yeah, it's like
noisy.
It's a fun ritual to get into what is some of the most delicious meat you'll ever have in your life.
That's right. All right, so there we go. So I've toasted my bread and it's just in my bowl. Now we're going to make the creamed lobster. In my pan, I'm gonna add a little bit more butter. Just get that melting. Hear the sizzle. So I've got about half of a shallot here that I've finely chopped. Put that in my pan. A little bit of garlic as well. Let that cook together. I love that smell. Just roughly chop my claws because I like to see actually the beautiful claw when I'm eating this. Chunk up my tail. Throw that all in there. Give it a mix. A little bit of salt. I'm going to deglaze with just a teeny tiny bit of white wine. Heavy cream. And at this point, all we want to do is just let it reduce. And then we're going to put all this beautiful, succulent, creamy, sweet lobster on top of our toasted sourdough. But I like to add just a little bit of lemon zest and a little bit of fresh parsley to mine as well while this is reducing. I'm gonna zest that right in. But this is really nice if you have company over. You could cook your lobsters ahead of time and then you could do this in front of everybody. And I've just a little bit fresh parsley I'm gonna just throw in there. Tarragon's really good with lobster. Basil's really good with lobster. All right, I'm gonna throw that right in there.
And how long are you letting this reduce for?
I basically wanna just reduce it for about a minute, minute and a half until the liquid has been cut in half. And now it's time to put it over the sourdough toast. Now you could make this super fancy, get really nice garnish of like frizzled leeks or even like some more fresh herbs, edible flowers. But I like mine just straight up so that I know exactly what I'm getting. That is a beauty of a lobster dish, and I can't wait to dig into this one.